You stare at the number on your screen, and it has a minus sign in front of it, like it's waiting for you to argue with it. A $4 coffee subscription you forgot to cancel just quietly pulled your account under zero. Before you can even process the $4, a $35 fee lands on top of it, bigger than the mistake that caused it. Then a $7 subscription you forgot about processes too, and the bank charges you another $35 for that one as well. $77 now, taken from an account that started the day with almost nothing in it. You call the number on the back of the card, and the hold music loops for what feels like forever before anyone answers. A voice finally answers, reads from a script and tells you the fees can't be reversed. Not this time. The next morning, your rent payment fails to go through, and the landlord adds a $75 late fee. Your phone bill bounces too, and that adds another $25 to a hole that keeps getting deeper. You skip lunch that Wednesday, not because you plan to, but because walking past the usual place feels safer than stopping. Priya, your friend from the same co-working space, asks if you want to grab food after work, and you tell her you already ate. At the branch on Friday, the teller looks at her screen, and her expression changes into something colder than anger. You decide you're done watching the number control you, so you start picking up every extra design job Priya sends your way. Weeks of extra hours later, you finally pull the account back to $200, and nobody claps, but you notice. The bank notices too, and quietly withdraws a $12 maintenance fee before you even open the app again. You learn the fee only disappears if you keep $1,500 sitting in the account, money you don't have yet. A secured credit card offer arrives, and it wants $300 of your own dollars as collateral before it will lend anything back to you at all. You read it twice and decide against it, refusing to hand over money just to borrow a smaller version of it back. Weeks later, your car's tire blows on the way to a client meeting, and without that card, you can't just put the repair on plastic. You ride the bus to the client meeting 3 hours late, and your manager just looks at you a little longer than usual. Priya offers you a steady monthly retainer for her small studio, and you take it, because reliable income matters more than any single job. 6 months of the same $1,600 landing every 2 weeks is the only thing about you the bank's system seems to notice. One morning, the maintenance fee just stops appearing, and you check the statement 3 times to make sure it's real. Real credit card offers start arriving now, not secured ones, with a $2,000 limit and 22% interest attached. You apply anyway, half expecting another rejection, and this time you're approved in 90 seconds. Back at the branch, the teller says good morning before you even reach the counter, something she never did before. When your car needs real repairs, you apply for a $5,000 loan, and it's approved in 2 days at 11%. You start to understand something nobody explained to you before, that the bank never cared who you were, only what your account looked like. Months later, you open the app and notice your credit limit jumped from $4,000 to $9,500, without you asking for anything. The next call isn't automated, it's Elena, your new relationship banker, and she gives you a direct line instead of a script out. When you finance your next car, the rate that would have been 11% months ago comes back at 6.8% instead. A $32 fee shows up on your statement, and this time, you just email Elena, and 3 hours later it's simply reversed. You start to realize the bank was never cruel to you when you were struggling. It was only ever indifferent, and indifference at scale feels exactly the same. Your studio grows, your balance crosses $80,000, and the app greets you with the word preferred on the welcome screen now. Elena remembers that Priya, your business partner, moved to Chicago, something you only mentioned once, months earlier, in passing. At the branch, someone with a nameplate stands up to greet you and guides you past the line. Everyone else is still waiting in you. A pre-approval letter arrives in the mail for a $400,000 mortgage, before you've even started looking for a house. A competing bank calls offering better rates, and when you mention it to Elena, she calls back within the hour with a counteroffer. Once your accounts cross $500,000, the bank stops being somewhere you visit and starts being something that visits you instead. The meeting lasts 90 minutes, covering your goals and your timeline, and at the end, nobody tries to sell you anything at all. A wire transfer freezes one afternoon, and this time someone answers on the second ring, and the problem is fixed in a single call. You're invited to a small private dinner hosted by the bank, and for the entire evening, nobody at the table mentions money once. At 5 million, you don't have a relationship banker anymore. You have a private banker, and your next mortgage rate is negotiated, not published. An investment minimum gets waived on a private deal, simply because someone decided the relationship justified skipping it entirely. You walk into a branch you've never visited before, and somehow they already know your name before you sign anything at all. You sit in a conference room with no logo on the door, discussing a private deal that will never appear on any public offering. At 25 million, the chief investment officer calls to ask your opinion on emerging markets before making a decision of their own. You realize the bank isn't just serving you anymore. It's consulting you. And somewhere along the way, you became the one they listened to. One afternoon at your own studio, a young freelancer working nearby mentions an overdraft fee, $4 over, $35 gone, and you recognize the exact feeling. You used to check the price of everything first, and now you find yourself sitting down beside them, explaining what the fee actually means, and what to do next.